And the most cynical interpretation of all this, and I'm not saying it's necessarily the correct one, but the most cynical interpretation is this is wag the dog right in front of our faces, right? That the president wanted to distract from his impending impeachment with a military strike, taking out a quote-unquote bad guy in the Middle East. But the thing about that theory is that it would only really work if it were the case that Donald Trump himself thought that a war on Iran would be politically beneficial to a leader who is attempting to resuscitate his political image. Is there any evidence at all to support that? Imagine if we had a video placed in a time capsule of Donald Trump talking about what a future president might do.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. So the only way he figures that he's going to get reelected, and as sure as you're sitting there, is to start a war with Iran. Now, I'm more militant and more militaristic than the president. I believe in strength. But to start a war in order to get elected, and I believe that's going to happen, would be an outrage.
Okay, now, to be fair, 100% fair, Donald Trump had a lot of takes floating around before he got into the White House.
They're remaking Indiana Jones without Harrison Ford. You can't do that. And now they're making Ghostbusters with only women. What's going on?
Which, again, all of the takes at that time were offered in the exact same format, like Ghostbusters takes, War with Iran takes, then we made him president. But in 2011, the idea that President Obama might start with a war with Iran, it was a constant theme in Donald Trump's comments and his tweets. So one thing that is definitively established, whether or not this is the situation now, is that it is the case that Donald Trump thought that one way an American president could turn things around politically would be to start a war with Iran. That is his own words. Essentially, that is what he thought.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.